everyone, and welcome to the presentation for the Senior Financial Exploitation, specifically talking about one group of mandated professionals, the first responders. So first responders include police officers, EMTs, anyone that is responding to a situation in an emergency situation. So a little bit about Pro Seniors. We were founded in 1975. So Pro Seniors is a nonprofit organization dedicated to enhancing seniors' independence and quality of life by empowering them, by protecting their interests, and by facilitating their access to resources. Some legal service programs that we provide. So we provide free legal advice for Ohioans age 60 and over. We've helped over 6,000 seniors annually. Our number to call about these services is going to be 513-345-4160, and our toll-free number is 1-800-488-6070. So what are we going to cover today? Well, we're going to cover what elder abuse broadly is, and then what is senior financial exploitation, which is a branch of elder abuse. And we're also going to talk about ways that first responders can and will report abuse, and talk a little bit more about that specifically for a first responder, and then also any related resources related to this. So what is elder abuse? So elder abuse is any knowing, intentional, or neglect act by a caregiver or any other person that causes harm or a serious risk of harm to a vulnerable adult. And let me know, guys, in the comments if this is something that you've encountered with family or friends or have heard about. Because it actually is unfortunately quite common. Now, what is considered financial exploitation of elders? Well, financial exploitation is the unlawful or improper act of a person using an adult or his or her resources for monetary or personal benefit, profit, or gain. Now, this is something that is really, really common. So let me know if you've ever heard of anyone, maybe it's a grandparent, a friend, a parent, that has been a victim of financial exploitation, whether that's scams or anything else like that. Let us know. So some warning signs of abuse could be a few different things. Deteriorating health, so changes in personality and or physical and emotional health, behavior, so seeing a senior being excluded from other family members or friends, just having more of that an isolating behavior. If the home condition, if there's poor home condition, so if the senior usually keeps their house really nice, really tidy, things like that, and they are not doing that, and it's a little more untidy. And also if you see if there's a new friend in the mix. So someone that kind of comes in that's very new and has this dominating or threatening disposition about them, or a caregiver that you haven't seen before. So some red flags of financial exploitation are going to be requests for wire transfers, prepaid or gift cards, any personal information, a large down payment, or a lot of pressure to act immediately, keep the interaction secret, send money out of the country. Also, any guarantees to make money, and if there is a large transaction, there's no contract. So if things aren't going how they're supposed to be going in typical situations, specifically for large sums of money, these are going to be big, big red flags. And guys, let me know if this is ringing a bell with anyone. If you've been a victim of this, or if you know people that have been a victim or have had just requests for these things, maybe in their email or on their phone, things like that. Let us know. So a little bit about Marilyn's story. So Marilyn started getting emails and texts from Amazon. So she called the number from this email, but it took her to a company called Health Awareness Project, doing genetic cancer screenings. So she put in her Medicare information because they told her that they would not charge her because the screening was free. Well, what happened was that they did charge her. So she called Pro Seniors for advice, and we advised her to get a new Medicare card and watch for fraudulent charges, and she has not been scammed since. So we do a lot of great things for the community when it comes to elder abuse, specifically for financial exploitation. So some types of financial exploitation that you may see as a first responder is going to be could be identity theft, mass market fraud. So what happens in identity theft is it's a crime that involves illegal access and use of an individual's person's and or financial information. So identity theft can happen to anyone whose personally identifiable information is exposed. So some common ID theft strategies are going to be credit card skimming, dumpster diving, hacking, stealing a wallet or purse, or phishing. And mass marketing fraud. So this is the use of false promises of cash prizes, services, goods, or good works in exchange for fees, donations, or purchases. So anything that's free should always be free. There should never be donation or a fee related to anything. So that is a good tip. So some common mass market schemes can be romance scams, text service scams. We've probably gotten that in our emails before where, it'll say that there's a virus and you need to call this number to fix it, those kind of things. Donation scams, if you've seen emails coming in, saying that they're a prince or princess, or just having, people out of the country asking for money. Also scams talking about that you won something. Those kind of things are always a red flag. So some high target groups that this happens to quite often is older adults and others who are isolated, people who have a physical challenge or disability, individuals who experience a cognitive limitation, those grieving the loss of a loved one, victims of domestic violence, near retirees, and previous victims of financial fraud. So why these groups? Why are these perpetrators focused on these groups? Well, they're more easily going to hand over control of their finances. They do tend to have more money. They tend to have a nest egg, and they are part of a vulnerable population. Now, the costs of fraud are incredible. Denial, isolation, depression, fear, guilt, shame, anger, even loss of self-confidence, and loss of trust in others. And the monetary cost, the time and money spent clearing up financial credit records, lifetime or retirement savings, benefits or personal property, home or home equity, retirement home, and just the general ability to live independently. So how can first responders help immediately? So learning a little bit about financial exploitation and what to see when you come onto a scene. Immediately, you want to show compassion. You want to listen actively. You want to be sensitive to the victim's fears and safety concerns. And you also want to try to understand why victims often, may return to you for help. So how can first responders protect and advocate when coming into these situations? So what can happen is they can suggest medical care evaluation, help the victim create a safety plan to prepare for future contact with the perpetrator, report the financial fraud to law enforcement authorities when appropriate. And just a little note, guys, the perpetrators, the people who are doing this, they can be in positions of authority, so they can be active in the community, they can be a part of civic groups, book clubs, any type of clubs, religious affiliations, and they can even be financial individuals, working in the finance sector. And they can also be caregivers. So who must report suspected elder abuse? Well, for first responders and any other mandated professionals, it's any individual having reasonable cause to believe that an adult is being abused, neglected, or exploited, or is in a condition which is the result of abuse, neglect, or exploitation. And they shall immediately report such belief to the County Department of Job and Family Services. And an individual licensed under as a first responder has to. So where should I report suspected elder abuse? So as a first responder, reports of suspected elder abuse should be made to local adult protective services or by calling 1-855 Ohio APS. That's 1-855-644-6277. They are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. So what should you include as a report for a first responder? Well, the name, address, and approximate age of the adult who is the subject of the report should be the first thing that you do. Next thing, you want to add the name and address of the individual responsible for the adult's care, if there is any individual, and if you know of the individual. Also, you want to add in the nature and extent of the alleged abuse, neglect, or exploitation of the adult. And you also want to add the basis of your belief that the adult has been abused, neglected, or exploited. And here are a few things that when you call this number. So the first thing you want to do is you want to give a call and schedule right when you get on the line. Then you can get an appointment, so you can get in as fast as possible. And then in preparation for your appointment, you want to allocate 30 minutes to speak with one of our no-cost lawyers. So we have a survey for you guys, and this is if you're wanting to learn more, if you're wanting to be more informed when you see this type of abuse, if you want to be a better first responder, and even if you want to get continuing credit, which is something that you guys can reach out and talk to us about, because we do courses to help people and to help you guys learn more about elder abuse. So here is the survey, and it's also going to be below on this live for you guys to take. So thank you guys so much. If you guys have any questions or need any clarification, feel free to comment below. And comment below if you have any comments about this video. If you have any questions, you can reach out on our page. You can reach out on our channels. Feel free to look at all of our information on our website as well as our social media channels. And we hope that you enjoyed this presentation. And we hope that you visit our website. Thank you.